What is up, humans? Welcome to another episode of the Lunch Table Podcast with Dylan and Akram. For this episode, we are diving into episode 4 of Secret Invasion, now out on Disney+. This is a really good episode. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think we have a lot to talk about, but Akram, why don't we get your thoughts? Also, this will be spoilers, just so you know, but Akram, take us away.
Yeah, finally get into the nitty-gritty of it with Secret Invasion. Yeah, this episode was really good. I think it had a great mystery in the beginning. Samuel Jackson shined here in so many like intense kind of moments. He always seems like he knows more than everybody else. And so this time he actually showed that off. And then the action scene we get later on, I thought it was really quick, but I think it was handled really well, the choreography wise, and there was a lot at stake too. There was another highway scene. It kind of reminded me of Winter Soldier a little bit, if you think about it. So for the most part, I thought it was a pretty good episode, and we only have 2 more episodes left. Let's get your thoughts.
Yeah, I thought it was a nice balancing act. We had like a nice intro where we see like 2012 Nick Fury after Avengers. I thought that was a cool, reintroduction. And it's like the scene with him and Priscilla, and they have like their first date, I guess, or one of their dates. And they have like this neat little poem that they share with each other. And it kind of shows off Nick's vulnerable side. We don't see that often, right? He's usually like this hard ass that we always see in the movies. It's neat to see like him being like very like human for once. Maybe that's the point of the show, is like who's really human, right? And then after that we get, of course, like the stuff with the Skrulls. So apparently Gaia is a super Skrull now. I think it's cool too how they kind of redesigned the super Skrulls, because in the last episode or one of the episodes we saw like a couple Easter eggs with the kind of a collection of what we've seen in the MCU so far with the extremists. And then there was like some Groot DNA. So they're kind of taking little bits of the MCU and combining them into this big machine that grants like powers for the Skrulls. So I think that's a really cool way of introducing them.
Yeah, it's really cool. I don't know how they did it back then in the comics. So if you guys can, let us know in the comments. But yeah, I wonder if this will be utilized in the future too. It seems kind of too convenient though, I must say. So it's probably like something they're going to use later on as well. It just seems too convenient, like too easy peasy. It's like after that, oh, I got it, now I could dip or whatever. But yeah, I think I knew she wasn't going to be fully killed off. I always felt like this character will be utilized somehow in the greater good of the MCU. So to see her now with extremist powers is pretty cool. And I bet with you that she's going to fight Garrick or Garrot, whatever his name is. And then I think, yeah, it's going to be, because if he has Super Skrull powers, how is he going to go against Nick Fury, really? I feel like Nick Fury's going to do shit on the side, and Gaia is going to be the one to really, take care of business too. And I think, since we're saying spoilers too, long time ago, I always had this idea that Gaia would replace Maria Hill, and it'll be like a new S.H.I.E.L.D. thing, and she's mixed with Skrull or Super Skrull, and you know how the MCU is, like they're doing a lot of things for women now. So it's like she's Maria Hill, but also Super Skrull. So they
that'd be perfect, actually, because she's
it will be
a natural master of infiltration, and she has powers too.
Yeah, that's
so
cool.
She could be like Nick Fury's Ethan Hunt, right? with the mask and everything.
Yeah.
No, that'd be really cool. I could definitely see that. It's like, why bring her into the MCU if you're not gonna utilize her more as a character, right?
Yeah.
Because now it seems like we're pretty much done with Talos in this episode. He kind of met his end, and he didn't have Super Skrull powers, so it seems like this is the end for Talos. But I was kind of mad too at the end when like he just kind of like left his body there and dipped. I'm like even if they were in the heat of battle, you wouldn't leave an alien body there. Like they could study that shit, right? Like anybody could just fucking take the body and research like fucking Indiana Jones or some shit.
Well, I think it's different though these days. I think now the cat's out the bag, right? So it's like they're seeing this happen, and I think it'll also prove a point in media, how media lies. So like I feel like you'll see like it's going to be really hard for the media to lie about this, but they'll find a way. And so there's a body there, then it's like, oh, they lied about that. So what else can they lie about? And then plus the Skrulls are in charge of the media. So I think that's going to play a larger part. I hope Talos isn't actually dead, though. I mean, we did see him. They kind of ended it like Maria Hill. I really hope he's not dead because I really love Talos. But I predicted a long time ago that probably Talos was going to meet his demise pretty soon in this season. And it'll provide something. He's going to kind of be like the Coulson for this show. And Gaia and Nick.
Yeah, the show is basically turning into Mission Impossible. If you think about it, it's like everybody
you and Mission Impossible
around Nick is like dying off like flies, like shit.
Right.
Well, also, what did you think of the Rhodey twist? So we kind of predicted that in the last episode. So it's cool to see it like happen on screen.
Yeah, I liked. I thought Nick Fury was gonna say, "Yo, black ass has been all the talk at Saber."
Yo, Skrull ass, but all them motherfuckers been talking about the big hell.
Yeah, I hated his character in this show. I really thought it was so fishy since the beginning. And I am so glad that it's not actually Rhodey. I was like, he did not help Nick at all. So it's I kind of expected it. I think me and you both were like expecting it. It's something's off here. And it's cool. It's a cool twist because, like, oh, well, who else is a Skrull? Watch Nick Fury all this time was a Skrull since the beginning.
That'd be so stupid. I'll fucking turn my TV off.
And like try to trick us.
Well, but that also begs the question: is like, where is Rhodey? Right? Is he in one of those pod things in the Skrull colony? Right? Is he just like chilling there? And are they probably like using? And imagine how much that motherfucker knows. Right? He's not just an Avenger. He works for the government, so he probably has like all these fucking military secrets that they can weaponize. Right? And that makes me wonder, like, how deep do the Skrulls go? Are there like other characters in the MCU that they probably kidnap? And because you have to think about it, they went through all this research for this Super Skrull project, so they're probably studying other metahumans or superhuman in the MCU too, right? Because they probably do they have Rhodey's armor too? Are they weaponizing it somehow?
Oh wow, yeah, imagine. I would imagine though. Well, I wonder. As a Skrull, can you pass certain locks and mechanisms? Like, if you go to the War Machine armor and you're a Skrull, will it detect that you're a foreign entity or something like that? Like, I wonder if it's that high tech to do so. I would imagine it will probably, because otherwise we would probably see this pop up in next episode to help out. Because, yeah, Rhodey was watching all the action from the back and he was pretty kind of emotionless or he was like impatient waiting for this to finish. So I wonder now if the cat's out the bag and he's going to do his thing, you know, because I would imagine Nick's going to be like, we're doing all of this and this guy could drop or carpet bomb everybody there. So it's like, where is it? So, yeah, I really hope Rhodey snaps out of it and he comes to help Nick and Gaia at the end. And there's like this big battle in episode 6. I would imagine so. That'll make a lot more sense. I think they need all the power they can get, you know?
Right. Yeah, for sure. Any final thoughts you had on this episode and what would you rate it?
I thought this episode was really good. I had a lot of fun with it. I always hate that these episodes are so short though. I would imagine these shows are so hard to do. But I don't know, for the runtime, you always feel like a sore spot. I always said this about the MCU. It's like you have bad shows and then they end fast. And then you have good shows and they end fast. But what if there's a good show and it ends fast and then now you're met with this bad show, like 3 bad shows in a row? And it's like, it's so, I don't know, it just feels bad. I don't know. I think that's
Moon Knight, like, wasn't the runtime for Moon Knight like an hour long each episode? I know it's a limited series, but it felt like a little bit longer than this show, right?
Yeah. I think I would imagine, because this show feels really mature too. I would have liked to have even more, I feel like this show matches with a lot more dialogue and probably commentary on war and stuff like that and go into foreign policy and shit. I don't know if that really will fit in Disney Plus, but that's just because you see how like you kept on mentioning Mission Impossible, but there's like a lot of dialogue in those films, no matter what. And it was just cool and nuanced the way how they did it. I wish the show had more of that, but I like this episode though. I thought this episode was great. It was like an all great rounded episode. I had a lot of elements that they implemented well, I felt, and then plus the pacing wasn't bad. Also, Nick Fury and his wife, there was that scene that I thought was really cool that they both had with each other.
Very emotional, yeah.
Very emotional, yet stoic. It was like they stood their ground kind of. It was like they were you know, old cats, and they knew what they wanted somehow. It was really great. I really love how they played that off
at the same time. I thought that was why it was cool. It's like it wasn't like a shock to Nick Fury, right, or a shock to Priscilla. They both had this understanding, and it's great to see. Like even though she's like a Skrull, at a humanistic level, you know, they appreciate each other, and even if they're enemies till the end. They still have that kind of love for each other, so I think that's like a really interesting concept.
Sure, yeah. I would. That being said, I would rate this episode a 9 out of 10. How would you rate it?
Wow. Perhaps it was a good episode, but it still feels like it's missing something, and I feel like maybe it's the runtime also, like you mentioned, because I feel like it's so short lived. I kind of want like more out of it. I feel like Wong again, but maybe perhaps like because like it's such a limited series, I feel like there's no room to kind of top themselves. I guess I always love when like shows kind of outdo themselves in like reoccurring seasons, like The Bear. We just reviewed season 2, and I love that they kind of like top season 1. So to see it kind of end after this season, it kind of feels like disappointing to me, but I'm going on a tangent. But anyway, my rating probably would be 7 out of 10 for me.
Okay, all right. I could understand that. I feel like a lot of people would feel the same. Yeah, I feel like both rated. Yeah, I could understand that. All right. Well, that is our review for Episode 4, Secret Invasion, now streaming on Disney+. Go check it out. If you like this video, make sure you actually like this video. Subscribe to the channel. Support us any way you can. We greatly appreciate it. And check out our plethora of reviews. We have a very serious movie that I'm excited to review tomorrow. We're going to film that. So be prepared. Sound of Freedom, now playing in theaters. Guys, I love you. Take us away.
Plenty of content, guys. Yeah, check out our other playlists, reviews, revisited. So we do plenty of content. Let us know how we're doing. Let us know what you want to see revisited or reviewed as well. But thank you guys so much. And until then, thanks for having lunch with us.
See you guys.